ontogeny. ontogeny. All right, there we go. Are we up? Let me know if you can see and hear me right now, chat. Perfect. Thank you, Golganak. Welcome, everybody, back to Paleontologizing. Welcome to a special early stream today. I'm about 2 hours early because we're leaving about 2 hours early today. Don DeBlue, Assistant State Paleontologist for the state of Utah, has got a special talk that he's giving tonight. A public talk about his work in the Moenkopi Formation, Triassic, over in Moab, Utah, so about 50 miles that way. So we're going to leave the quarry about 2 hours early to go attend that talk and heckle him and all that good stuff. No, we're going to be showing our support. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and looking forward to going into town and just a little taste of civilization, or at least whatever civilization we can find in Moab, Utah. But anyway, but we're early, so we're starting 2 hours early. We're going to be ending 2 hours early. With that housekeeping out of the way, welcome. If it's your first time here, let me introduce myself real quick. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, and I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. So, talking about fossils, talking about why paleontology, history of life on Earth. There's the context that paleontology provides us is really important. Whether we're thinking about our place in the universe or whether we're, I don't know, just looking for cool, interesting stuff to learn about, it's paleontology provides that. Out here, while I'm in the field, I strive to provide good science outreach. I'm working with the Utah Geological Survey, which is part of the state government of Utah. It's part of the Department of Natural Resources for the state of Utah. We've got 2 state paleontologists in the quarry today, and picking up a new species of iguanodont dinosaur. Although dinosaur species in general are largely the same thing. We can talk more about that later. But anyway, live dinosaur dig. This is the best way that I know of for doing science outreach while I'm in the field. Everybody is curious about dinosaurs and about other extinct critters. Lots of people are fascinated with the idea of excavating these fossils, and I get to show that to you live thanks to the magic of Twitch and satellite internet. So, welcome to Paleontologizing. Will Don's talk be recorded by any chance? I think it might be, Golganak, yeah. This is for UFOP, the Utah Friends of Paleontology. That's the group that he's giving the talk to. And they often broadcast these things online, so that might even be available to watch this evening. I'm not sure. We can ask. But anyway, here's the quarry here. And some of you will recognize one of our good friends and colleagues, Paleo Ken, right over here. How you doing, Ken? Showing off his Wyoming heritage with those boots.
Specifically with shorts.
There you go, yeah. Is that a very Wyoming thing? Cowboy
No,
boots
it's a very not Wyoming thing. So.
Gotcha. I was going to say, I think blue jeans and cowboy boots is... But I don't know, I'm not from there. You could tell me anything, Ken, I'd believe you, so...
I believe that.
Yeah. Reputation for gullibility, Not really. But anyway.
I genuinely believe that it's just setting yourself up for people to just start.
What's that, Jim?
You pride yourself on your gullibility.
Sometimes, yeah. Being suggestible, trusting folks, like we trust Uncle Don. Don, we had a question. Is your talking to be recorded tonight?
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they
Gotcha.
are as technologically savvy.
Right.
In a chapter.
It's still getting internet out here in Utah,
You did the other time.
Yeah, I don't know if it's up though. It might be. We could check on the Great Basin chapter.
Tech DJ or something.
Yeah.
Like, UFOP YouTube site. See if it's up there.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, I've never seen
Cool. Anyhow.
Sorry, people. No more Kopi madness for you.
Folks are like, can we watch at home? Can we watch live?
To deal with desert madness.
This is the closest you're going to get today, I think. Sorry, everybody. But anyway.
No new gods.
Folks are saying hello to Ken in the chat too. Golganek says hello.
Hi, Golganek.
Yeah. And Gary says, is Don nervous before his talk? Don doesn't really get nervous, you know? Nerves of steel. Don's never shown any kind of anxiety or ill feeling or any kind of negative anything at all.
No, I'm perfect in every.
Cool as a cucumber and...
No, I get more nervous for like a professional meeting.
There you go, yeah.
The nice thing about the talk where you're the main speaker,
Yeah.
if you're nervous for the first couple minutes, that's not a big deal because you're going to have another 45 minutes of
Exactly.
being on.
Yeah.
Whereas
an
shorter-
SVP talk, you've got 12 minutes.
Yeah, and if you're nervous for the first 5, that's like you've already gotten.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
whatever the math is on that.
Good point.
After a while, you realize people aren't even going to be there if they're not interested in what you have to say.
It's true.
But
It's
yeah,
not a
you gotta
captive
know,
audience.
And
yeah.
I've given this one before. Plus, I'm bringing in all kinds of my friends.
Yeah,
Feel
got a
it.
bunch of ringers in the audience, you know? We can all cheer or boo
Sometimes people
or hiss.
get more nervous when they are talking in front of people they know than strangers.
That's true.
Now,
Yeah.
once I get going, I am taking a quick look over my talk here just to
Nice.
make sure I have it down. But,
Cool.
Yeah.
and then I figure, once you get there,
Uh-huh.
you got to realize that the talk should be all about the audience and the presentation, and not really about you. So
I guess, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a hard thing sometimes because everybody. I mean, most people dread public speaking more than death.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. So like if you're at a funeral, you're better off in the casket than you are doing the eulogy, you know? Yeah.
I mean, he probably.
Anyhow.
But thanks for asking. That's a very sweet thing to ask.
Yeah, people are interested, so
Just like-
yeah. If it does show up online afterward,
Yeah, we'll look and see if it's, I could look on the Great Basin Chapter website here and see if my previous one for February is posted.
oh, okay.
No, after
I
everybody
know that
shared
one
dinner
went
together
really
for
well.
Let me look,
yesterday,
because then if I find the link, I can post it in
Yeah,
the chat
'cause
for
I'd be
everybody.
happy
I don't want me to
Yeah, yeah.
serve, Dad, that's a good
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Let me look that up real quick. Oh, thank you, Claire. That was really helpful. Don't even have to Google that. Nope, this is different. No, it's UFOP.
I don't know where you look through it, and it's like it takes you like 5 minutes. All the things.
UFOP, paleontology, Great Basin chapter. There we go.
Just know, if nothing else, I have to cheer because my paperwork's not signed yet.
I figure I'm going to do that.
Hmm.
You've seen what happens when I try to do stuff without a mouse.
Yeah. I'm honestly not even
I
worried
don't
about it if you wait until it's
mm,
completely done and
Here's the
you're
YouTube channel.
going home.
That's true. If I send it before you're done,
Then I can just
Videos. 1 year ago. No, but I'll give you a link to this at least, chat.
today is day 16, and you needed 120 hours. So you just did 8 hours a day.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, even at 8 hours a day, I'd be
So Don's talk is not on there yet, but one of Jim's talks is, at least one, and then talks for some other paleontologists and community members, so you can check out that YouTube page if you'd like to. And Stevie Seals says, can I ask a possibly silly question? Go for it. Don't be shy. Yeah. Did I not mention that earlier? The kind of bread and butter of these streams is Q&A. So if you happen to be curious about anything to do with dinosaurs, with the fossil record, with extinction, evolution, geology, philosophy of science, anything like that, don't hesitate to ask. That's what these streams are all about. And the weather today is not nearly as hot as it has been, Rakabosh. I'll show you in a minute, but first I got to make sure that my device is actually charging, so we don't lose the 25%. Okay, good. 37%. Oh, we're golden. This is good. There's a slight chance that our battery pack could deplete, in which case, if the screen goes black toward the end of this stream, if it just cuts out, stay with me. It means I'll have to plug the camera into a different battery. But yeah, don't go. Yeah. Anywho, yeah, much cooler today than it has been, which is really nice. So it is only 99 degrees in the shade today, right now as we speak. I'm also streaming earlier in the day, about 2 hours early. So, well, we'll see how much cooler it really is at our normal stream time. But 99.1 in the shade today. We had a nice, fairly cool morning. There were some clouds this morning, which is really pleasant. But those have largely burned off. That looks like it could be a thunderstorm developing over there, but it looks like it's going north. That should miss us. It's a beautiful day. It really is. And 99 degrees is like, I don't know. I've been out here for 2 weeks now at this point, and pretty well acclimated. 99 degrees is nothing. That's Fahrenheit, thankfully. Yeah. And Wheel says, I love how you said only 99, but I understood why you said that. Glad you understand why. Let's take a look at our other thermometer, actually. This one here. This one says 100. Max of 106. That must have been yesterday afternoon. Yeah. Minimum was 77, so it got down to 77 degrees last night. Not too shabby. Yeah. Had a little bit of wind and rain last night, but yeah, it was pretty pleasant overall, I would say. Anyhow. And very funny, Crimson. Yeah. I've got a bottom jacket to make today. Let's go over there and get that set up. From our iguanodont dinosaur. Let me show you what that is real quick. So, this will be new to you. The primary critter that we've been excavating here, there's bits and pieces of other things, but for the most part, our animal here is an iguanodont. It is a new species because it looks different and it's from a different stratigraphic horizon. So Jim says it's like 100% chance our critter is new. It would look something like this. This is Iguanodon bernasartensis from Europe. This critter is a member of the same family as our iguanodont, but our critter is about 20 million years older. So this guy is more advanced. Has a thumb spike like that on the hands. Yeah, it just kind of looks more derived in general. Our critter would look a bit more like Camptosaurus. If you were to cross Iguanodon and Camptosaurus, it's a pretty rough approximation of what our critter would probably look like. But that is Iguanodon there. Really cool critter. And again, new species that we're excavating now. And we know this is a new species because we already have hundreds of bones from this kind of critter. And we're just trying to find some more. There's a few really key skull bones where if we could find those, we would be really, really happy. Squamosal is first and foremost among those, one of the bones from the back of the skull. If we get that, then we can very easily compare this animal to some close relatives like Iguanocolossus. But we don't have that yet, so we can't quite do an apples-to-apples comparison. Hopefully one of those bones will turn up, a squamosal like that, but we've got about 9 days of digging left. So we'll see if one pops up. But I have a scapula, a shoulder blade, from this critter that I've been working on for the past several days. Yesterday, at the very end of the stream, we got that flipped, and that is right here. So what I'm going to be doing is putting the bottom on this thing so it's fully contained. We can get it safely back to the laboratory. It can be opened and prepped and studied. And maybe this will make it into the paper, who knows. So many bones, it's... I'm not sure which ones are going to be featured. This is important. And there are plenty more dinosaurs next to this. This is the thing, who was that in the chat? 304 Hobbit. This site that we're digging here is what we call a bone bed. there's a whole bunch of different individual dinosaurs whose bones are found here, and they're all jumbled up. So each one of the skeletons is disarticulated. These bones have been scattered all over the place, all mixed up. And so we're just excavating every bone that we can. And then in the laboratory, we'll be able to, I say we, I'm using the paleontological we here. The folks who are going to be working on this in the lab, they'll be sorting these out. Certain bones of the same size class might belong to the same individual, but that's really difficult to prove. You got to be really careful with these things in science. It's not about arm waving, it's about, testing ideas and using evidence to try and figure stuff out. So we can't just say, these two bones look like they're roughly the same size, so they've got to be the same individual animal. We don't know that. In fact, let's talk to Jim about that for a second before we jacket this thing.
Yeah, nice bird.
Oh, sorry. I'll give you a minute, Jim. But, how you doing, Jameson?
Alright.
Yeah. Oh, well. How about you, Marcello? Anything new today?
Nothing new. I'm
Yeah.
working on a couple weird bones here. I've got kind of like a long bone.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's something above it that I'm gonna try to jack it with it, honestly.
Gotcha, yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just pedestaling and hopefully maybe can get a cap on it by the end of the day. Maybe
Cool.
start it tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. Nice. Okay, excellent. We've got kind of a short day today, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice half day.
Yeah.
So, what's the deal?
Yeah, so Jim, when we've got a bone bed like this, with all of these animals disarticulated, how do you try and sort things out in the lab, and how do you name a holotype when everything's all jumbled up and you don't know which bones belong to which individuals?
Yeah, well, for one thing in this quarry, there are some portions of skeletons and things that are associated.
Okay.
The Metasaurus
Uh-huh.
was an associated skeleton. It was an animal got mired,
Yeah, it was an
plunged its legs
articulation.
in.
Yeah.
Legs were articulated. The rest was all scattered around.
Okay, yeah.
Topside.
Yeah.
But it got trapped and died there and got buried.
Uh-huh.
But if you look at cross pelta, the new one we're naming,
Yeah.
there's 3 individuals
Uh-huh.
in the area of the holotype. Very early on, as we were digging, we knew Ankylosaur
Uh-huh.
or Paleocanthine, how they differ from knew from these rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And you get this complete pelvis, just both ilia. One looks pretty kind of rotted, but the other one's pretty good shape. And it's in sacrum. I include pictures of it in situ in the paper. It is like, see this. Does this explain why it looks like it does, Brett?
Sure.
But as we looked at all the materials, here's another ilium.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's a bit smaller, and it's got to be already got a left ilium. It's got to be another animal.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's one that's about half as big.
Uh-huh.
So there's a third, even smaller, juvenile individual.
Yeah.
So we knew we had at least 3 individual different sizes. So the pelvis, I was real worried about this for a few years.
Uh-huh.
Wanting a head, head easier to name, a lot more things to hang your hat on, so to speak.
Literally speaking.
Yeah. But the pelvis, as I worked on the description and really got into it, comparing it, if you look at the paper, I just look at all the different pelvae.
Yeah.
And you realize, the pelvis in the Jurassic Paleocanthine, which I'm very comfortable with being Paleocanthine, Mimor pelta, the whole thing flexes laterally and goes horizontal right past where they attach to the hips.
Okay.
In this animal, it goes up for about half the distance to the tip of the, they have this long blade that goes up on the upper pelvis. Then it just sharply turns down to the side.
Very different.
The position this happened, and you can see there's more than one of these doing this.
Yeah.
Mimor pelta doesn't do it this way, But that halfway between when they're not doing it, it also shares with Mimor pelta. It doesn't have this ridge that you see under the ilium. Kind of goes from the base of where the pubis attaches to it and angles up underneath the whole preacetabular area. It's probably a thing for strengthening them, going out horizontally. But you see those in ankylosaurs and in nodosaurs and in derived paleocanthines. The Gastonia's got it. This critter doesn't have it. And the only other one that doesn't have it is Mimorapelta.
Right.
It's probably related to this big curve.
Sure.
You know, so you start adding it up. That's just one of the elements. And then we look at other elements that
other bones in the body.
The biggest stuff we think might go to the holotype animal.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be 100% sure. That's why we had to pick that as the holotype.
So you just pick the best bone, basically, the most diagnostic one.
Yeah, you hope you get multiple things that, where you can say this is a skeleton.
But if everything's all jumbled up, you've got to pick one bone and make that your holotype.
And I basically call the largest caudal, the largest dorsal, stuff part of the holotype. But because it's clear. This is the one that's got a base on if we found that.
Gotcha.
Nope, they don't go to that end.
Yeah. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question there. Yeah. And Illyspid. So this, I don't know if I'd call this a river delta, but this would be like a swampy environment. Jim likes to say
definitely not a delta.
Yeah, but you would have had occasional flowing water over this, but for the most part, a very still kind of swampy.
There certainly
lowland.
was like in the fern marsh. They've been like streamlets going through.
Yeah.
And big floods. On occasion, we're getting mud flows with floating bunk fossils and junk coming in, and then just flowing in, laying in some of these beds, and probably individual sets. Or like flowing in as the stuff just kind of goes along.
Yeah.
And then the bigger sets with stuff, are pinching out completely and nothing happens for 1,000 years then.
Right.
There's a lot over on this part of the lobe.
Which is partly why we get this weird swaling, like the ups and valleys in these mud layers. We can actually kind of see that here, because Jameson and Marcello have done a great job of clearing away these horizontal surfaces. But it's not like a perfectly flat surface. You get kind of lumps and mounds like that. Yeah. Well, but you're working with what you're supposed to. It's not going to be perfectly flat. So yeah. It's funny to think like, okay, there was a surface of that, and then there was another storm or something, little flash flood or whatever, deposited the next layer of mud, and like it kind of tells a story when you learn how to read it. It's cool stuff. Yeah. Is that giving you some trouble, Marcello?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Bad and bone the bad way.
Yeah. It happens. Here's where that scapula was from over there. I'm gonna bottom jacket that. Let's get to that, shall we? Yeah. Let's get a decent bucket and gather my supplies. Figure out where I actually want to jacket. I might go jacket it over by Ken. There's some open space over there. Let's do that. So I want to be able to carry this with two hands, which means, what do I do with you, chat? I'm going to take you for a little ride here. Go like this. There we go. Yeah, I want to get this thing capped. So Don is going to be going back to Salt Lake tomorrow, and we want to be able to send this with him. So let's see. Chad, let me set you down right here.
all the skin off the top of my finger and had to get 20 stitches.
Is one of the vertical ones break in half, or?
No, just one of the ones.
There we go.
From like I was holding that one and like this one flipped over and like I just had my hands over the top and just the conduit came down and just whacked.
Guillotine.
All right.
All on stream too.
Yeah, I was watching.
And thanks, Alexander, for being here.
The stream for a few minutes.
Good luck with the afternoon, evening shift. But yeah, good to have you here. Let's get to jacketing this thing.
We've done amazingly well for minimal injuries in this program over the last quarter century. It's hard to imagine this program would be over a quarter century old. Long time. Does not feel right.
So, oh wow, it's brown everywhere.
Man, the air's so clear. Look how clear the air is.
Much better than last year.
Oh, man.
Smoke.
I mean, I haven't seen it back there.
Yeah, is
in
that
a
okay,
while.
Ken?
Of course.
Smoke here.
I thought you just left the cabin. Oh, I see.
I use costume planning, evil doing.
One more strip of burlap.
Crowds. Knows how to keep their mouth shut. Right.
Yeah, that'll do it, I think. Test fitting. Yeah, that'll be nice. So, here we go. By way of explanation, this is something we do regularly here in the field. You're about to witness kind of a time-honored sacred tradition of vertebrate paleontologists, fossil jacketing. This is how we get fossils safely out of the field, especially if they're larger. They're real. You can just get them out in a little bundle of toilet paper or something like that, but with a large bone like this, it'll crumble unless you hold it in place. So this is what we call a field jacket, or a plaster jacket. It is made of burlap. Some people call it hessian or jute, but it's really coarse fiber like this. We soak that in plaster of Paris, almost kind of like paper mache, and then we build a protective cocoon around the fossil. And this allows us to get it out in one piece without the whole thing crumbling. So I've already done that for the top of it. We flipped it over yesterday at the very end of the stream. Some of you were able to witness that. Now we've got to put a bottom jacket onto it to fully enclose it. Just seal it all up. So I'm going to be working on that. I've got my burlap. I've got my bucket for mixing plaster. I'll bring the plaster over. I'll bring some other implements. First, we got to put some separator on it before we can even think about the plaster part, though. So let me get some paper towel, and a little bit of water, and it's done.
Horrible. A doctor to get in your shirt.
You gotta be at Yale or A&H. Paper mache jacket. Flower piece.
Yep.
Works well enough.
Oh, small enough, I imagine.
There are times when they're doing syrup.
Shoot, really? Nuts.
A lot of layers.
Ontogeny.
Yeah. I would think it wouldn't have the... Okay, so not delicate.
It's got its delicate aspects.
I would think newspaper wouldn't have the same tensile strength as burlap.
Yeah, but it's like, what do you got with you on your horse?
Right, yeah.
They collected when they were out. As I said, cook wagons, barrels, and flour.
Imagine that 1880s newspaper was probably half a tree anyway compared to this.
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah. Modern newspaper, not as resilient. Maybe too much water, we'll see.
But if you put in, they put in like things in big bones and stuff.
I wonder if they'd ever mix in straw or anything just for a little bit of extra.
I know in Mongolia they packed everything in
Camel hair, yeah.
Roll up the camel, shove it into the box, and pack it. And if you go over there and work in the Gobi, yeah, you realize they can produce a lot of mats. Camel fur.
All right, here we go. And Ms. Drop Air says, enjoy the sounds of jacketing. I don't know what it is about this microphone, but it really highlights all the squishing and squelching noises.
Oh man, that's great.
People love it, you know?
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah.
This is the sound that when the guy drops your kidney in the transplant. Just incredibly similar sound.
Squelch, squelch, squelch.
That's why you never want to watch your kidney.
Whoops. I'll wipe it off with my pant leg.
All right, so what I'm doing is applying a layer of separator here in order to keep this matrix, this rock, from plaster. Just kind of lay it over it like this, and then take a wet paintbrush like that, wet camel hair brush, and dab it on.
No, it's not very clear, man.
No, there was no feeling. There was a guy behind the sheet talking to me. Basically all I know about it.
My wife swears that once after me, she feel it, that it didn't hurt. I feel it, I was awake all through it.
Oh, I can feel pressure.
Yeah.
I can do that during my wisdom teeth. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got teeth pulled. The guy was supposed to give me crowns. He screwed it up. So here I am with just like Novocaine. He rips the two molars out of my jaw. And he's using pliers like to break the tooth so he can get them out.
Wow.
Snap! There's nothing like the feeling transmitted to your ear through your jawbone of a molar snapping.
That's wild, Jim. Shoot.
I had impacted wisdom teeth, so that was fun.
Ugh.
Yeah, we probably don't need to talk
My
about
wisdom teeth.
Teeth are
We want people to have a good experience on paleontologizing. Discussions of dental pain.
On this stream of paleontologizing, medical nightmare.
Right. When surgery goes wrong.
Oh boy.
When buildings collapse. On Non-Stop Fox.
Is that Simpsons?
Yeah.
I like the part where the buildings fell down.
Oops, I messed up. I'll pull him.
This poor little ant is experiencing when buildings collapse right now.
Oh no.
Oops.
Oopsie.
It was sticking for a little bit.
If you can't handle the digging, get out of the quarry, ants. Alright. So we've done this. This is like a skill level thing. Technique, I'm going to put a little rim of paper towel around the perimeter.
I know I had a
roll it up a little bit, give it some extra height, and that'll provide just a little bit of like a lip or a pie crust that they can cut into in the laboratory, and that'll make opening this jacket that much easier. Little Pink Pony says these are official scientific paper towels. You bet. Every piece of equipment we have here is extremely expensive and sophisticated, including and especially things like these brushes. Look at that. Pure bristle. Imported from Indonesia. This brush is probably older than I am. Don, how old do you think this brush is?
I bet we have a couple people on the quarry that are younger than that brush.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Could have been around.
This brush is definitely older than Jameson is. Maybe older than me.
That was in the documentary, probably.
It probably was, yeah. Yeah, shout out Utah's Dinosaur Graveyard. 2006? Alright, watch those tarps. Poles especially.
You made sure to hit the lead.
Also, a couple of weeks ago, like a week before we were coming out, I wanted to check. And the one I saved on the Google Drive and on my desktop, my book was about Because I looked, it was like 2.2 megs. There's no way.
There you go, Crimson, yeah.
60 or 70. Luckily, I had another copy saved, or I would have lost them 2 weeks worth of it. And luckily, I did it a week before I was leaving for the field. Yeah, something happened when I saved these.
You need to strive for this degree of preparedness, because if it was me, I would be finishing the last slide right now. Or in an hour.
Yeah, I did this time. That's why I need to do it, because it's nice when it's already in the can. So to speak, to use my Hollywood lingo.
Very funny, Crimson. Always with the puns. Are the paper towels for protecting the bounty of knowledge these specimens can bring? I suppose so, yes.
Crimson with the dad jokes.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a couple of long bones.
So many puns.
And then some thin ones on there.
We love you, Crimson. It's never change. So it's really important to do this sort of jacket properly, because you really never know how long it's going to spend in storage before it gets opened. I mean, sometimes you know, but in this case, I don't know how long this thing's going to spend in storage. So I got to make sure that it's nice and secure, well-made jacket. This thing will last for years or decades in storage without opening up. Also, you never know how much it's going to get jostled around in the truck. We try and be really careful and delicate with these things, but, you know, stuff happens. Anybody who's tried to drive on the highway through Salt Lake before, especially around about rush hour, you know how crazy that can get. And I say this as somebody from the San Francisco Bay Area. I think Utah's got us beat in terms of crazy drivers, especially in the Utah Valley. Alright, there we go. Keep looking at my wrist like it's there. Yeah. Comparing. Oh, and interesting, Claire, that's funny. Beats Attack says Bob Ross would be jealous of the... Shout out Bob Ross on Twitch. I think there's those 24/7 streams that start around Friday. But, yeah. I like to think I could have had a fun conversation with Bob Ross about dinosaur science. Seems like he was a good guy. There you go. Just happy little dinosaurs. There we go. Nice, okay. So got a nice little rim around this. And now... So what I think I'm going to do is do one there and then one on either side like this to protect these parts of it. Although...
the gully, I mean, we're getting out of the bottom.
Yeah, that'll work. Doesn't have to be perfect. Take this off and take off my wristwatch. I'm mixing up some plaster here. This is going to be only 3 little strips for this. Not a whole lot. It should go pretty quick. Let's get it started. Yeah. Oh boy, Carson. Yeah. Techbird, you got banned from the Bob Ross channel on Twitch for recommending a paint brand that is not theirs. Oh boy. Okay. Well. Alright, I'm gonna tilt this like this. I'll mix the plaster in here. You know what? I'll tilt it like this so maybe you can see part of it. Scoot this back a titch. There we go. We put our plaster.
In the action tracker, isn't it?
Oh. Okay, thanks.
There's a little bag that Ethan had that's almost empty.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. Perfect. Lovely. Scoot back, thank you.
Yeah, at some point.
Okay, let's mix up some plaster.
We got some of the nice
And Winning Bikini, hey. How are you doing? Welcome to Paleontologizing. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. And Sam Kent says, is this the biggest bone found so far this year at this location? I love the way that you qualified that. The answer is yes. Yeah. Which is kind of funny because normally we find... I feel like we find more stuff. I don't want to say that too loudly. Yeah. Yeah. and winning bikini. Here, when I was a kid, I imagined many more people digging dinosaurs. We're a rare breed, we dinosaur excavators. This is actually a good number of people in the quarry right now. Yeah. Just the other night, there were like 5 of us. But then we had some people return and some new people show up, so the quarry is actually fairly full right now. And obsidian, it is something that you learn with experience, identifying bone, being able to tell it from the surrounding rock. Some places it's a lot easier than others. Here in Cedar Mountain, it tends to be kind of tricky. Mixing the plaster in, pouring that in. There we go. We want a little bit more than that. Want it to be the consistency of like pancake batter. Making fossil flapjacks. Now I gotta remember to mix it a little bit thinner than I'm used to.
This deep of bones.
Oh yeah.
Because I was trained to soak the burlap in water beforehand, and that is verboten here.
Oh, these things are like lenses. They're
As you heard Don say yesterday.
You know, slowly stacked up, and
So as a result, you gotta mix the plaster a bit thinner.
good stuff.
This is still too thin.
I'm starting to refer to this as a bone bed.
That's about right.
complex. You know, it's not a single bone bed.
I like that.
Because there is a history, the placement of these
Right.
intervals. It's not a one-event bone bed by any means.
Alright, so I don't know if you can see, but there's the consistency of our plaster here. And I'm working through and trying to squeeze out any lumps in here. Get all the powder mixed up in there. It's feeling just about the right consistency, if only a tiny bit runny. But I think I want to err on the runnier side for this.
Could have just gone straight down. Right? Right here. This is all.
Is it already there?
All already there. Yeah, right along
Yeah, I know. Well, I said that since I've been here. It's like, you dig, if we had a bobcat, dig this out, there'd be bone under that. I know it. But we'd never hit the bottom of this site. You know, we still don't know if we really hit the bottom of over by your area. You know, I mean, it's never went the bone bed one. It's complicated and it spans several meters in total. You know,
She found there's a little tiny bit
you
of bone
don't, you
over
can
in this
follow
area
a bed
somewhere.
here all the way
Yeah,
down
that
to
would.
there.
Is that something that we're gonna try to get out?
Snapshots.
Because I was trying.
So you're not
to
supposed to
kinda
pull it
hook
up down
over
on there.
and I was like,
That's why we may someday
to
just
ask before
tap into a big theropod.
And I'm glad I've got 3 strips,
awful-
because any
awfully
spots
small,
that are
right?
thin, I can shore those up. Any weird overhangs or like dangly bits,
Okay.
Done?
we can get those smoothed over.
Are there?
Oh, there's no
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to put another one over here like that. This burlap has got such a loose weave to it.
Yeah, it does. Takes away. I used to always joke, open a new site. Can't we just close our eyes and use a pick, you know, go a meter in and then start? That first meter, you find all this rotten crud.
Yeah,
Take it forever.
it takes up so much time.
You know, it's like, the good stuff you find. Always is.
There we go.
And it's not gonna help you that that's right in the.
I'm going to do another one right here.
Right now.
And that'll use up almost all of our plaster.
What you think you get there, Don?
There we go. So anything that's dripping off, I'm trying to catch onto the jacket, so we'll have less of a mess to clean up, less plaster debris on the ground, and also I didn't mix that much plaster, so any extra that we can salvage is good. There we go. So I'm going to continue to smooth this over, because any like little pointy bits or anything, they're going to feel like razor blades once this stuff is fully hardened. And we're going to be carrying this by hand, and we don't want to get all cut up by it.
Yeah.
There we go. See, I goofed up there and touched the ground, so now I've got some little rock stuck to this. That's not ideal. Get those off. Get this nice and smooth.
Yes. Good in between. Yeah.
So jacket making is one of those things where different paleontological crews have strong opinions on how to do it right. Everybody's got their own recipe. I've worked with crews who refuse to use anything other than like Hydrocal brand plaster, like high precision casting plaster. Like, oh, it's the only stuff we'll use. It's the best. It's the strongest. It's also some of the most expensive. I know crews will put like paint mica or sometimes like tempera paint into their plaster in order to color code their jackets. I always thought that was interesting. But there's controversy over whether or not that changes the consistency of the plaster and weakens it. Really, I think we would benefit from like a material science approach to this kind of thing. Testing some of these different methods and seeing if they actually are better or worse in terms of strength, in terms of other things like archival quality. Does the stuff degrade over time? Even things like drying times for different brands of plaster at different temperatures, different water to plaster ratios, stuff like that. There we go. And at a certain point, once it starts to set up, you just have to go, okay, hands off. Just let it sit. And I think we're almost at that point here. Just trying to do some last smoothing, especially around those edges. Trying to preempt any sharp spots, get those smoothed down. We're looking good. We're looking good. Ugh. Now I can look at the chat again. Sorry for being neglectful, everybody. Yeah. And Winnie Bikini says, how many years have you worked as a paleontologist? There's a bunch of different ways I can answer that. I've been digging up dinosaurs since 2011. My first summer was 2011 with Museum of the Rockies out in Montana. And I've been digging dinosaurs nearly every summer since then. I think I've only had 2 summers in the time since when I've not worked with the paleo crew excavating fossils. Almost always dinosaurs, but sometimes other stuff too. So I've been doing this a while. But we've got people here on this crew who have been doing this for decades and decades. Don has been excavating fossils for, I don't know. How long, Don? 30 years?
My first dig was 1985.
1985. So that's what? Good 20 years ago, right?
Yeah. Lot of experience.
7 years old.
And Jim has been digging for 54 years now, Jim?
Yep.
54 years. Shoot. So I'm a young whippersnapper compared to them. And we've got some folks here on the crew where it's their
about the December birthday thing, and it was like
their very first time digging
I
dinosaurs.
was always the youngest, and now everywhere I go, almost I'm pretty close to the oldest. Here I'm outnumbered a little bit, but
There were several weeks in the almond where I was the oldest, and I'm only 39. So. A youthful crew.
The young guns.
nonsense.
How do you feel out here?
Age is a social construct.
And when you stand up, you don't feel very young.
No matter how old you are.
Exactly.
I think the person who's complained about their back the most is Jameson. So
17, you're over the hill, Jameson.
Well, yeah. My spine's still developing, you know.
that's what it is.
Maybe the first
all
time you
downhill
used it.
from
So.
there.
Might be done now, you know?
Uh,
Fused it into place.
Yeah, I'm gonna be this.
You'll be using a walker by age 20. Put little tennis balls on the feet.
I decided I was going to try to just pop it out.
it was more complicated than I gave it credit for.
Some of those little things are really difficult to know.
But if we can enlist his help, then
All right.
we just successfully made it someone else's problem. Yeah.
Not too shabby. I keep looking at my wrist like my phone is on there. Let's get you set back up there, chat. First, wristwatch.
Because it's in such an awkward position and it's so small.
And now,
that I
wrist strap.
don't know that I'm up for that yet.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that one.
Different to the side.
And where's the other guy?
It's down here.
There we are.
So I was trying to help you out by bringing some more of this hill down for you.
Excellent.
And then I got to that and I was like, well, I'm kind of afraid to mess with that too.
Yeah. Superb. Mythic Mexican says, now that you have that bone jacketed, you can do a TikTok dance in celebration. I don't know how to do that. So we'll leave that to other people on other channels.
What, this?
Sorry.
Well, I was trying to help.
Yeah.
We'll get that bone out of the way and we'll have it.
Absolutely, Elise, but yeah. So this is
Well, I mean, technically,
much
I
of field paleontology is
told that
geology. Extremely important stuff to know.
that was kind of where I'm like.
You got a sense for that because that is very true. Let's go get some water. But look at that, not too shabby. Wait for that to dry, and then I can write on it with a marker, get it labeled and everything. I forget the number, but I have it written down. I'll put the number on the jacket so it doesn't get mixed up with other stuff. Doesn't get misidentified in the lab. I can even do a little doodle on it. Those are always fun. Since this is our biggest bone jacket so far, I think it's deserving of a little iguanodont sketch. That should be fun. And there you go, at least. But yeah. So this method of what we call field jacketing fossils, this was first derived by the field crews of Othniel Charles Marsh. He was an East Coast dinosaur paleontologist who would send crews of people out to the west. They'd dig up fossils. Some of them were Civil War veterans, and I think at one point somebody realized that they could more easily get these bones out of the ground without crumbling if they built a jacket around them, almost like a cast on a broken arm or leg. And so they devised a method of using burlap, aka hessian, aka jute, soaking it in plaster of Paris. And it worked so well that other crews adopted that, and that's now the standard way of doing things. It has been since the 1870s or 1880s. It's funny how, even with all kinds of technological advances like internal combustion engine vehicles and satellite internet, we're still doing things the same way that dinosaur hunters were doing them in the 1870s. It's pretty funny how that works. Anywho. And I've been instructed not to tell people to try and apply for volunteering here in Utah, like not with the Utah Geological Survey, just because they don't want like a huge influx of volunteers. But there's lots of other places that people can seek out. This is difficult and awkward to talk about because, you know, I don't want to be the least bit gatekeepy about this kind of thing. But there is a bit of a barrier there where, like, if you make things too easy for people to apply, it makes things difficult on the people who have to go through those hundreds of applications. So I usually say, you know, see if there's a local museum near you or something like that. Do some sleuthing around the internet, and, you know, if you can get through that small bit of legwork, you know, then maybe you're a little bit more suitable for a paleontological crew. It's... yeah. Does that make sense? I'm not here to, like, recruit a ton of people to this program. We had to turn a bunch of people away this year because we had way too many applications. Too many people who wanted to join the crew. But, yeah. No, and it's okay, Claire. Yeah. And Alex, Arcadio, do you get paid to do this? I do not, no. None of us do on this crew, except for the people who are working for the DNR in Utah. These vehicles here, Utah Department of Natural Resources. It's part of the state government of Utah. So Jim and Don and Ethan work for that organization. They work for the state of Utah. They're getting paid. All the rest of us are volunteers. And frankly, they're volunteering for a big part of this time too, because they only get paid for 8 hours a day, and they're doing like 12 hours of work. So it's volunteer work out here, pretty much. Yeah. Anywho. Yeah. There you go, Crimson. Yep. Ah, that's nice. All the ice is melted in my water bottle at this point, but water's still nice and cool. It's a good thing to have, especially when it's 103 in the shade. It's funny, it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like 103. But I think we're just used to it at this point, you know? Yeah. And Exotic Gaming says, is volunteering always a full-blown commitment type of thing, or can it be done part-time? So at a site like this, the more time you can volunteer, the better, especially if you're brand new. It can take maybe a few weeks to like be a total newbie before they're proficient in this kind of work. So like if you can dedicate 3 weeks of time to, say, this program, then we can get you trained up, and then if you come back the next year, it's like, yeah, just come out for a few days or whatever. It takes a while to get people up to speed, to teach them all the necessary skills for doing excavation, collecting data, all kinds of infrastructure stuff, like putting up shade tarps and things like that. I've been working with this crew. This is year 5 for me, I think. 2022, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this is year 5 for me working with this crew. And there was a big learning curve for me too. Even though I'd been digging up dinosaurs for like 11 years before coming out here, each crew does things differently. Different people have different opinions, different skill sets, different proclivities, and each site is going to be different as well. So when you arrive at a new site, you kind of have to be trained on how things work. What's the procedure for getting things out of the ground and documenting them? What is the rock doing here? How is it breaking? You know? What's the local lithology has a big part in determining how we actually do our work. Is the rock really crumbly and friable and the bone is really strong, really resilient? Well, then it's going to make things easier. But if, like here, the rock is often harder than the bone that's inside it, it requires different techniques. So, yeah. And King Black says volunteers don't need degrees or school. I mean, you should be able to maybe read and write, and take orders well, and that sort of thing. But we've got volunteers on our crew today who this is their very first time digging fossils. Yeah, we've got volunteers who are in their undergrad. We've got a volunteer in high school right now. So, you know, it takes all different kinds of people. Yeah. We've got professional paleontologists and we've got people who are brand new to this. So you don't necessarily need any experience or training or even like education in this kind of thing. You just have to be willing to learn, willing to, you know, take orders. If we tell you that you're doing something wrong, you know, don't argue. Which seems to be an issue, especially like with older volunteers. Sometimes, you know, like, oh, you know, I'm older than you. I know how these things work. You've never dug dinosaurs before, you know, or you've not done that here. You got to be respectful of how things work at each different site because people who are running this operation have been doing this for decades. They've pioneered these techniques. You got to listen to them, you know. So, yeah. And Suzarkana says, "Hi, Danny. Does the prospecting determine the size of the dig area or the size of the dinosaurs you're digging for?" I mean, we find what we find and then we excavate it. So here, we're lucky that we've got a pretty wide area that's all yielding bone. So from that end of the quarry over there, the edge of the pit, here, this whole area is yielding bone. Sometimes it's patchier in certain areas, and we could extend this, you know, really far in any direction and probably still keep finding the same stuff. That's one of the really cool things about this spot called Doling's Bowl out in Utah, is that it is just chock full of fossils. There is so much to be found out here. It's kind of crazy. So Jim was just saying earlier, he started calling this area a bone bed complex. So we've got a series of different bone beds that might be laterally contiguous. So this is what we call Jim's place over here. This is where we just started working. We started picking up work again here this summer. This had previously been worked from 2006 until 2010. Or 2007 till 2010. But that spot over there was where we had been working for the past 4 years. Now that is called Ethan's Wash, and we've pulled hundreds, really thousands of bones from over there. That might be the same exact horizon as this. This bone bed might continue underneath all the way over there. This is an incredible spot. There's just bones everywhere. This is bigger and more fossiliferous, I guess you could say, than like the quarry wall at Dinosaur National Monument. This whole valley floor over here is like one enormous site, or series of sites, a site complex, as Jim was saying. Pretty crazy, you know? Yeah. And Salamander says it's not just paleo volunteering in which older folks dislike taking orders from youngsters. Yeah, it's an issue. And very cool, Obsidian. In northern Arizona, there's a ton of dinosaur footprints coming out. That sounds legit. I mean, here in the American Southwest, Utah, New Mexico, Arizona, into Colorado, millions, literally millions of dinosaur footprints. There are more dinosaur footprints in this area than there are dinosaur bones. Which makes sense when you think about it, because an animal only has so many bones, but it can leave while it's alive, running around. So I don't know about that site in particular in northern Arizona. There are a lot of really cool dinosaur track sites all over Arizona, and the northern part especially, I think, makes sense. But yeah, all over Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, and Arizona. So that's almost certainly legit. There's a famous dinosaur track site that we'll be driving by this evening when we go to attend Don's talk in Moab, Utah. The Mill Canyon Dinosaur Track Site, just north of Moab, is a really, really cool spot. It's really neat. We've got the first record of dromaeosaurs, so raptor dinosaurs, from North America as footprints. They may have been the first identified ones in the world, if not in North America. Tracks of various different types of dinosaurs, ornithomimosaurs and big carcharodontosaurs, huge toothy meat-eating dinosaurs. I've got the tracks of ankylosaurs, these squat four-legged armored dinosaurs. We've got tracks of crocs, like relatives of modern crocodilians, that are not just walking around but also sliding down like mud banks into the water. All kinds of awesome stuff there at Mill Canyon Dinosaur Track Site. And these track sites are not uncommon. There's places in Arches National Park where Jim and Don have found all kinds of dinosaur tracks that nobody knows about. So many places like that out here in the desert Southwest. And Kira Clip says, how do you collect footprint fossils? There's a few different ways how you can do that. For one thing, you can just make casts. So what you're doing is you take some sort of like rubber, mold material, and you pour it over the surface of those, and then you pull it up, and then it gives you like a positive or negative cast of the tracks. But that can potentially be destructive. So a more modern method of doing that is just to scan it. You scan the surface, either with like a designated scanning device or just with your smartphone. You can take a photogrammetric model, and that can allow you to have a digital model of what that track site was like. You can get all kinds of good information out of that. But the old-fashioned way of doing things is to literally just, say it's a sandstone trackway, just cut into it and pull up the slabs. So if you go to the American Museum of Natural History in New York City, and you look under their big Apatosaurus sauropod dinosaur skeleton, there is a trackway there from a big sauropod from the Paluxy River region in Texas. They just hacked these things out of the ground and brought them back to New York. That's rarely done nowadays. Like, that's something that is kind of frowned upon. But it's the way they used to do it. Yeah. And let's see. And Murph says, so dromaeosaurs shared the same grounds as big theropods. I always assumed that they would occupy different environments. No, so here in Doling's Bowl, we have a little dromaeosaur called Yurgavuchia. I'm about to sneeze. God bless me. Yurgavuchia comes from right over there. We also know that there's a huge carcharodontosaur in this environment too, because we found its teeth, and then a BYU crew actually found some ribs of this animal. So we know there's a huge hulking allosauroid, a carcharodontosaur most likely, in this environment too. You also get that in like the Cloverleaf Formation of Montana, where you have Deinonychus. You have an Acrocanthosaurus-like dinosaur there as well. It might actually be Acrocanthosaurus. So you often get dromaeosaurs and bigger carnosaur-type theropods in the same environments. That's not uncommon at all. In fact, that might be kind of the rule rather than the exception to get those critters together. And thank you everybody for the bless yous. Yeah. Let's get some more water, and I'm going to put some sunscreen on my hands because one thing about plaster jacketing is it really dries out your hands. And this is already a really dry environment, so yeah, give you all kinds of hangnails and just, you know, dry skin problems. So I'm going to throw some sunscreen on there just as a moisturizer. It's going to get a little greasy for a while, but, you know, it's worth it. I don't have to do anything. And Birian says you look like you're getting really pale hands. Well, I don't think the sunscreen's going to help with that. I don't think my hands need tanning, though. I remember in 2013, I think it was, spent a lot of time in the field that summer with the Museum of the Rockies crew, led by Denver Fowler. And I had gotten a lot of sun, so by the end of the summer, we were all kind of comparing our tans, like how dark we had gotten. And Denver had a Munsell color book, which is this book with little, almost like paint chips in it. And it's used for more or less quantifying the colors of different rocks and soil and stuff like that, so that when you're putting stuff into your notes, you know, you can say, well, this is a medium gray-green. You match it up to that, like, oh, yep, that's what it is. That's to standardize your color names. And so we held it up to, you know, each of our arms. We're like, oh, look, you know, I'm a light earth brown, blah, blah, blah. And then for me, put it up to my skin, and it's just straight brown. Just the platonic ideal of brown. And I was kind of proud of that summer. Actual brown, exactly, Claire. Yeah. It wasn't like Crayola crayon brown, but it was brown in a geological context. So, like, if you were to say that a rock is just brown, that was it. Yeah. And let's see, Arkansas. Oh, David Carnival. There are not many dinosaurs from the state of Arkansas. I'm not really familiar with the geography of that state. But when I think of dinosaurs and the state of Arkansas, the dinosaur that immediately jumps to mind, this is not a joke, is Arkansaurus. It's an ornithomimosaur from Arkansas. It might be it's one of the few, if not the only dinosaur from Arkansas, Arkansaurus. But I'm not sure where exactly that. Yeah. And Anywho, and welcome, Wolvulus. Good to see you. And Hogan says there needs to be a dinosaur named after every state. That would be cool. But not every state has fossil dinosaurs. Every state has modern dinosaurs. You know, every state today in the U.S. has a state bird. Birds are dinosaurs. So every state today has living dinosaurs in it. But, you know, dinosaurs from the Mesozoic era, there are certain states where you're just never going to get any fossils of dinosaurs. Hawaii leaps to mind there. Hawaii is a volcanic island chain. It's almost entirely igneous rock. There's very few fossils to be found in Hawaii. I say this, but there's probably like a foram or diatom worker, and they go, oh, well, actually, there's plenty of diatom fossils in this one deposit that was pushed up from the ocean floor. Okay, but you're not going to find vertebrate fossils in Hawaii for the most part. They will be extraordinarily rare because there's so few rocks to find them in. Everything's igneous, volcanic, you know? Likewise, I don't think there's any dinosaur fossils known from much of the upper Midwest. So I'm talking Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, probably even like Indiana, Ohio. I don't think you have any dinosaur fossils from that part of the country. Not Mesozoic dinosaur fossils. You might have some bird fossils here and there if you're extremely lucky. But bird fossils in general are very rare. And did Hawaii exist back then? No, Hawaii is only like 5 million years old or younger, Obsidian. Hawaii is very new. And Vermont, says Sabo, I don't think there are any dinosaur fossils from Vermont. I think Vermont is mostly igneous and metamorphic rock. So yeah. Yeah. And there you go, Claire Burr. Yeah, there used to be Mesozoic rocks, so it doesn't mean that dinosaurs didn't live in Vermont, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Indiana, Ohio. They certainly did. It's just we don't happen to have rocks from that age, from the age of the that are exposed on the surface. And some of these places, you could take a drilling rig, take like a core sample, drill way down, and you could get a plug of rock from the Mesozoic era. But the odds that you hit a dinosaur fossil with that are very slim. It has happened in a few weird cases. They usually make the news when somebody pulls up a chunk of dinosaur bone in, like with a drill rig. It happened in the parking lot of the Denver Museum of Nature and Science not too long ago. They had to do a drill rig thing for some reason, like a geological survey type deal. But that's very rare. I think they suspect it was like a piece of Thescelosaurus limb bone, I think. Yeah. Gonna sneeze. I'm just gonna yawn? Okay. But yeah. Anyway, in places like Wisconsin, Minnesota, Ohio, there used to be tons of Mesozoic rocks there. Dinosaurs were running around all over the place during the age of dinosaurs, and there was rock being deposited there, but most of that stuff got completely cleaned away, just bulldozed by glaciers during the last ice ages. So there's just no rock from the time of the dinosaurs left in that spot. One of the reasons why Utah is such an incredible place to find dinosaur fossils is that there's so much rock from the age of dinosaurs that's just on the surface here. So, as far as the eye can see here, this entire landscape, even going way off to the horizon, see the Book Cliffs there on the horizon? Those are from the age of dinosaurs, from the Mesozoic era. In fact, this is all Cretaceous. Everything that you see here is Cretaceous. From the very beginning of the Cretaceous here, up through the Upper Cretaceous, I think, in the Book Cliffs. And those yellow hills in the middle there, so not in the background, but see where those shadows are being cast, those dark shadows in kind of the middle ground on those yellow hills? That is the Juana Lopez formation of the Mancos Shale group. And that represents a time when there was a shallow, almost tropical ocean right in the middle of North America. So this area was under an ocean at the time. Sea levels rose, flooded this part of the middle of the country, and so in there you'll find fish fossils, you'll find ammonites, which are these cool coily shelled cephalopods, kind of like an octopus in a shell that looks like a ram's horn. You'll find giant ocean-going lizards called mosasaurs in those rocks. You'll find sea turtle fossils in those rocks, in the Mancos. Really cool stuff. But that is from after these rocks here. That's why it's higher up. These rocks here are from when the middle of North America was high and dry, before the sea levels rose. The Cedar Mountain Formation. There was no Western Interior Seaway at the time, but you did have huge rivers moving through this landscape. So, I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Everything the sun touches is the Cretaceous. Exactly, Charlie's Dragon, yeah. Yeah. And David Carnival says it's so wild but so cool to me to think that just massive herds of different species of dinosaur dominated the land and covered all the land we see. Oh yeah, it's cool to think about. And let's go ask Jim that Akira Eclipse, rather. When the message gets highlighted, sometimes it's hard to read. But let's get that diagram that Jim put together and we'll have him point to that and talk about some of this stuff. Here, let's find his Dinosaurs of Utah diagram. This is such a cool thing that Jim made. He's constantly revising it. Dinosaurs of Utah. There's the older one. And there's a newer one that doesn't look as pretty because my printer is running out of ink. Oh, here's this too. That'll be useful. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Let's go ask Jim about that. All right. Got a couple of questions for you, Jim, if you got time.
Yeah. Autoimmune diseases and whatnot.
There we go. First question is, how do we get money for this kind of thing? Where's our funding come from for this work out here?
Well, I like to say classically, but it's not that old.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it looks old to me, you could probably say classically. Funding, I think like National Geographic.
Yeah.
In the day, they used to fund a lot of digs.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I actually got a picture of National Geographic one time I took sites that, the mammal site in Kayenta.
Uh-huh.
Didn't get credit. It's M&A photo. I shot that picture. It's a National Geographic.
Yeah. That would be such a cool feather in your cap. Like, yeah, I took, if they credited you, yeah. But yeah, nowadays, I mean, you're an employee of the state of Utah.
Yeah. And, traditionally a big source of funding for university groups, which right now is in dire danger.
Yeah.
Is the National Science Foundation.
The NSF, yeah.
This audience isn't one, but I'm sure there are a lot of people, if you're more widely dispersed with your viewership.
There's people watching from around the world right now.
Why should we spend money on paleontology at all?
All right.
Are we curing cancer, feeding the poor? No.
Well,
we get kids excited about the history of our planet.
Yeah.
We're looking at...
I would say you are feeding the poor, though. Like, I get to eat every night.
Yeah. But you're looking at, trying to get across, this is how our planet operates.
Right.
This is the history of life. We are life. This is part of us.
Yeah.
So there's immediate links.
For millennia, people have been trying to answer the question, like, where did we come from? What was here before us?
Yeah.
Now we know these things because of the work that we've done in the field of paleontology.
We're really putting together a history of this planet. We're starting to see patterns.
Yeah.
About, what are the major, drivers of mass extinction.
Yeah.
And, a lot of these things have, pretty common elements that suggest, we're starting to learn what happens when you poke Mother Earth, what the results are and how it happens and things of that sort. So it's like, let's not run the experiment to prove it. We got to test it.
Sure.
Science is you got to be testable. So we're going to do this and see what happens.
Right. Yeah.
Global scale experiments, I'm not a big fan of.
Like we're currently doing with putting all this carbon in the atmosphere. Yeah.
Or do we put big reflectors up, to ameliorate it? Let's cut down the sun's heat coming to the Earth.
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so long story short, our funding here comes partly from the state of Utah.
Yeah, National Science Foundation.
Yeah.
A lot of money in recent years has come out, and we're talking 10, 20,000 to an organization. Not big, giant $1 million grants.
Yeah.
But like Grand Staircase, National Monument, Bears Ears, small grants to various college groups, research groups, Utah Geological Survey, allowed us to do work. It was like seed money for an incredible amount of science.
Right.
But it was seed money. I mean, anyone that knows how things worked in this went to dinosaur paleo, literally.
Yeah.
From the federal government for those projects. It's almost nothing. And you consider how many, 20, 30 new dinosaurs, new faunas.
Right, yeah.
Whole new...
we'll talk about that in a minute, yeah.
Approaches to biogeography.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, why are these so different? These should be the same as in Alberta and Montana. What's the deal? You know, all kinds of new questions. You know, and all that's seed money, just little bits of money, like oh, you know, 10,000 here, 10,000 here to look at various things.
Yeah.
You know, it's vital. I mean, most all the funding I've gotten in the last 20 years has been, you know, from little grants from National Park Service. You know, we've done inventory studies, you know, every national park. You know, BLM looking at proposed wilderness areas. You know, what are the resources before access will be limited. I mean, it's like, you know, it's all that is, you know, funded me to do much of the work I do. Right. You know, and then, you know, we have laws in Utah, you know, that concern paleo protection of paleo, or keeping the statewide database. You know, the extra money at the end of the year is often what we use to just do the kind of research I'm involved with. Right. But prior to 2005, Discovery Channel funded a lot of my work. Right. You know, Discovery Quest funded a lot of this stuff, and it wasn't tons of money. Right. But it resulted in tons of science.
Right. I mean, that's something I'm always trying to emphasize to the viewers at home is paleontology is one of the most efficient sciences there is in terms of funding. We do so much with so little cash. And this operation here is like a few $1,000 for 3 weeks worth of work out here, and we're getting a new species of dinosaur out of this. Like that's a big deal.
You know, encouraging frontiers, and probably getting several new species.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Speaking of which, everything in this site's new science.
So I mean, speaking of that, can you give your spiel about how, you know, back before you started here in Utah?
This is an older version, because now it's 33 sequential faunal levels.
There we go. There's the new one.
Newer one.
My printer nowadays is not as good as that one was back then.
Well, paper differences.
But so how many dinosaurs were known from Utah, Jim, before you started working in the Cedar Mountain?
Yeah, and Outlandic yellow is just not as attractive. Yeah. But it's 33 faunas. But what we see, how many? There were total of 22 dinosaurs named in Utah.
And those are not ones that are
22.
Not just endemic to Utah, but like ones also in Colorado.
Yeah, they were mostly from the Morrison.
Yeah.
And a handful from the North Horn.
Yeah.
And they listed 3 from the Cedar Mountain, but there were actually only 2. You know. Yeah, throw that screwdriver on someone's head. I think they'll come over there at this point. Gone. But, you know, basically we've gone up to, you know, I think we're around 140 for dinosaurs.
140 dinosaurs. Yeah. It used to be 22 and now it's 140?
Because there's a number that are, like, names are in manuscript by various institutions. You know, but it was like, you don't have the before and after here. If you do the before, it's pretty boring. This whole thing, all that Cedar Mountain, what you look like, that's, you know, like a quarter of the entire, you know, record in the Mesozoic. It's a quarter of the Mesozoic record.
And that was unknown 40 years ago.
There was like 2 dinosaurs in that interval, and they thought those rocks were all like just right there. Yeah. That was all there was.
It was a much shorter span of time than it is.
And it's like, whoa, there's all these slices with different things at each level. You know, and it's, you know, staggeringly complex. Yeah. You know, which is like, you know, little lenses. The rocks, you know, here, the rocks in the west, you know, they're correlative with stuff. You know, they don't overlap. We don't get those formations with those faunas, you know, that are all up here over in this area where we get this stuff. Sure. Yeah. You know, these are east of the Santa Fe swell, all that's west of the swell, but it's all part of the same story. You know, it's really amazing. You know, dawn of the Cretaceous National Monument. I mean, look at that record. That's Grand Staircase, just that. You know, like, oh, yeah, this.
Cedar Mountain is huge.
It has got so much more than even Grand Staircase. Yeah. You know, which is why we're pushing dawn of the Cretaceous. Fossil Beds National Monument. Right. And we're just wanting to and develop and the honey holes, the places where, like, oh, that's where you got good yellow cat stuff. Yeah. Utah raptor and all. You know, oh, mustn't touch it. You know, and set up interpretation and you know, the people of the world are interested in this stuff. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
It could be money for our rural eastern Utah communities.
Cool. So we had a question.
And of course,
since I
then there's
printed that one in like 2023 or whatever.
Yeah.
How much have things changed? Because this is your latest one, right?
Yeah. And this is pretty updated. The stratigraphy's updated. I think if you went one back,
Yeah.
this would have been a lot higher up, than it is now. I'm trying to think. Yeah, we're closing some of these things. It's like, well, you got more. Yeah, so it's like, the Ruby Ranch over here is only the basal stuff. And the stuff is way up there, though we do have sites down there. We're just not lining them out that way. But now the story, is like just filling out. I mean, in between. I mean, now differentiating new faunas. A lot of the new stuff, like look at all the dots there.
Yeah.
Compared to this one.
Okay, yeah, these dots here.
You got like 3 dots, or dots,
yeah.
1 dot.
So these are different
Those
horizons.
are different faunas.
Yeah.
I mean, they flipped the comparates into 3, maybe 4 faunas. 4 faunas in the Wahweap. There's at least 2 that we have in the Straight Cliffs we've barely touched. We've got the mustn't touch it, but there is Natarita stuff. It's we just keep getting more slices. I bet we're gonna eventually say, oh, there are 50 faunas,
right?
In Utah. But the work is ongoing. But we've gone from 5 faunas with dinosaurs to like 33 plus.
That's nuts.
I mean, I don't, that's why I say 33 plus.
Can you explain what a fauna is to anybody at home who's not familiar with that term?
Well, generally, in the modern world, a fauna is all the animals, plants, things that live in a certain geographic place, so like an island.
Sure.
You have a fauna of an island, or like an ecologic unit, like a pine forest.
Yeah.
What's the fauna of a pine forest? What kind of mammals like it? What kind of lizards like it? Those are faunas, the entire ecosystem, the trees.
So like Kruger National Africa.
Yeah.
You get lions and giraffes and rhinos and wildebeest. So that's part of that particular fauna.
In
all
South
these critters
Africa.
that live at the same time and place.
Yeah. And the plants. The microbes that biodegrade their carcasses, the entire thing. So fauna is a big concept.
So when we've got 33 of them, that means 30.
And what's going on is looking at everything that interacts. Generally at a layer above and below, we have time gaps.
Right.
Because generally deposition of all the, particularly on land, is little bursts of sediment coming in and then periods of peace and tranquility.
Sure.
As farmers along the Mississippi, it's like we like it when things are just quiet.
And not when the Mississippi floods its banks.
And just buries all our fields under clay. But that's how deposition works on land.
That's how we get sites like this with fossils preserved.
And there's a whole bunch of different lobes in here, same kind of environments. They were burying things. We say there's 4 levels here, 3 levels there, and they don't connect to each other. These are all areas where there are floods of mud into the system that buried what happened to be there at the time. And sometimes there was a lot of stuff laying there. Other times it wasn't that much. It all rotted away. Whatever. Very variable. But it's the records are snapshots. So basically, the way we're defining faunas is when we get animals. Sometimes we do get them at more than one level. But where we get animals that are found together, same species. Plant eaters, meat eaters, the plants, and then all of a sudden we go through another layer, a little break of soil or something, and the animals we see are different. There's no species in common. They might have relatives in the lower thing, but they're clearly not the same thing. So each fauna is like a discrete. You always like say, here's where we discovered Australia. This is where we sailed into New Guinea. But these are all faunas in temporal sequence. There really is no other place in the world that we've been able to do this in the Mesozoic.
Jeez.
Through all the way up.
So
and there's
Utah.
A lot to fill out here. I mean, I've got our Middle Jurassic story, but we've got tracks, horizons with great diversity of things through that whole interval. We know there's stuff. So someday someone will find a bone bed in Carmel or something, and we'll have another big story.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. Yeah. Holy cow, 33 plus sequential faunal
Right
levels.
now, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
things are so. I tell people, you see, I didn't change the numbers of groupings. It's like, I couldn't fit it on the page. You would not see anything.
Uh-huh.
I want to get about that scale, and then get someone to make a poster and sell it in the national parks of Utah.
We've talked about this before. I'd love to be able to do the artwork for that.
Just someone needs to do it. It's just,
Yeah.
Okay, so much of the money goes to UFOP.
Yeah.
I'd totally take it.
Awesome. We should talk about that at some point when we both have time.
It's basically make something pretty.
Yeah. I'd love to do that.
Maximum information with beauty as well.
And if I could do that live on stream, if that's permitted.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Man, my job is to get the word out.
Yeah. Awesome. We should do that, Jim. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm gonna go put these away real quick, and then, how many Sharpies do we have, Don, for drawing on jackets with?
Getting a little low.
Getting a little low. Have you got one, Jim? All right.
That works.
Yeah.
It'll be in my pocket. Oops. There's no way I left it in the tent.
Let's see. Did we already hear about the news about the Utah Raptor Mega Block?
It might be in my tent. Where is it?
I wouldn't worry about it. I've got one.
I thought I had one.
I've got.
That I've been carrying around for months. Always have a Sharpie. You can say you're sharp.
Let me go look while you're looking. I'll look over there while you're looking over here. And put some art on this. Also put a crucial number on there so it doesn't get lost or mixed up with other things. Shoot, do I not have pencils? Dry erase. No permanent marker? No Chapo? Haven't got that? Ugh. Here, I think it's in my tool bag. There's one in here. Try and open this with one hand. Let me set you down, chat. Hang on a sec. There you go. Ooh, paint marker. That might work. And permanent marker. And brand name, Sharpie Fine Point. Oh boy, that is almost too nice to use on a jacket. We'll see. I might use that for some of the fine detailing if I do a drawing. But use it sparingly. Let's go see. And yeah.
I guess the year before some water got water toxicity and
Rave death?
which is they were like, you guys can only drink 1 liter of water a day, and they were like out in the
While they're prospecting, apparently, is what Kai was saying. Just bonkers.
Somebody in
All
my
you could bring out while you were prospecting was 1 liter of water.
Yeah,
That would
nuts.
be so
somebody
Nuts.
in my story who normally you have to tell people to drink more water, more water, and she was just on the right part of the spectrum where.
Let's see,
her
archive.
stomach hurting after the end of the day. It's like, okay, when I tell people to drink more water, you just keep drinking the amount of water you're
Number
drinking.
17.
Yeah, she was on the way to doing that just because literally
Wow.
took it too literally.
Right.
Sorry.
Well, that's the thing.
Oh boy, this is not quite dry enough. I'm going to draw on the other side.
I was saying this is symptoms of dehydration.
Yeah.
People just give them more water.
Oh, I didn't see this flap on here. That's not ideal. Oh well.
You can sell it
Subpar work. Yeah.
as long as it's not a flap that will cause.
So,
You know we're
DBJP? Dolly's Bowl Jim's Place?
DBJP, yep.
Okay.
New
And
716.
I think so. Let me double check.
about the same amount of time.
I found the shelf.
No.
Bench.
760.
Flat area of
Yep.
land.
Oh yeah.
It's full of sadness.
I thought you were saying.
This is something that was found previously.
All right.
Yeah.
I thought that was what I heard too, and I was figuring it out, but
Definitely, yeah.
Bone.
Exactly.
Part of it though.
A lot of time.
Oh boy.
Been, preordained.
Not really.
Oh, yeah.
Your picks.
Let me try a paint marker.
I'm still irritated about it not being
it's nice and
flat
dry.
enough.
That's the surface from yesterday. Ours today is still a little wet, but
no, because
let me try a paint marker and see if that.
all day.
Ooh. Ooh.
2 days.
Ooh, I like
I
that.
have before.
You
Nice.
are neutral. You will just like jump from.
I will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bam.
definitely. And I even talk crap about
DB.
mine. Like, so yeah, definitely chaotic. I don't even care if it affects me badly.
JP.
Junior Cartier.
Belong to the bed.
Yep.
Let me turn the camera around so you can actually
Whatever
see
that
chat.
means. There I am. Are you gonna talk trash about me? Here, let me help. You know what? I know all the things I've done. I can help a lot.
JP.
Okay.
I reckon I need one of them better Sharpies.
7,
I feel like it was flatter a second ago.
16.
Do it. Don't let it get ruined. I think I've waited long enough.
No, you're good. I ordered more Sharpies, but I don't know if they can.
And
Blame it on the administrative assistant.
It's fun. It's usually their fault.
What's star?
Sorry, but
Kind.
what's that?
Hey.
You're so kind.
And on top of it.
all right. Let's draw an iguanodont on here. Oh, and first I want to draw. What am I doing? So, yeah. Let's see.
Wow, that's fantastic. My artwork is beautiful. I mean, that's the best. The weirdest thing that
2026.
I've ever- I don't even understand how that could happen. You will when you open it. It'll make all the sense in the world when it's open.
Ah! Too much ink.
I don't know how to draw mine.
Oh, yours isn't dry yet, is it? I'll have to hand you the marker. Oh, you don't need it yet. Keep it on. Thanks, sir.
Scapula.
The Butler building over this whole end.
And,
All the way to the truck with it.
and let's draw this canvas of the outline of our scapula. Let's draw an iguanodont. This is not the most precise artistic implement here, but I'm going to do my best anyway.
Oh, it looks like I can actually take some of this down. Let's start there. Maybe.
Now you'll prefer with that side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. Like I can work this direction, but it's really hard to work this other direction.
I can do it, but it's much harder.
Oh, it's much harder.
Yeah, usually having your right hand comes out.
though, that would be kind of perfect. The right and left facing each other, and they can kind of work towards each other, and we won't have this big hump in the middle. Sort of perfect.
Line them all up like.
Because I'm having to kind of that way.
With the poles and stuff.
That should be about there.
But I can't, so I have to actually turn.
The only way you do it is like lay on your belly.
Yeah, I was doing that yesterday.
All right, yeah.
There we go. This is not my best work, but that's okay.
That other little tiny bone is about where your hand is now, right?
Right under my hand.
It probably is not going to hurt it no more than you got dug out. You have to set your hand like it was. I was just making sure before I start.
There we go. That's looking a little better.
My hand is still covering each other.
That's actually perfect though.
Yeah.
I can't go too far.
This block of ink over here is still wet. Ugh.
I feel like this is a finger.
What's that?
This guy.
There we go. Not the worst, but definitely not the best.
My lack of knowledge of biology, by the way.
Again, this is just a big splodge of ink that came right out of the
A rib.
paint marker. Nothing I could do about that.
That looks the same as a phalange,
But-
yes.
Yeah, there we go.
I
Iguanodont.
Thank you.
Not too shabby. That hand needs some work though. That's a little embarrassing looking. Let's fix that.
This hit me. Right in the arm.
Many people.
Yeah, probably most of us.
There we go.
We didn't even
Nice.
get out here until 9:30.
Casey.
Up until
Yeah.
this week, we were much more punctual, I have to say. This week, we've all been slacking a bit.
Now, I wonder if the other side is ready for drawing on now. With the paint marker. Let's turn this over. Let's just do a little test on here. Some of this still feels a little clammy.
Messed me up for a second. I actually turned around to Devin and I was like,
Yeah, it'll work. Okay. All right. Let's think about how we want to do this.
I was hoping I'd get into a more normal, like human sleeping pattern out here, but I didn't fall asleep until 4:30.
Oh shoot.
Oh yeah, that happened.
Jeez, Ken.
I'm still not.
I'm impressed you're awake.
I'm not fully recovered from being that night working truck driver for.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
How many years did you do that for?
the nights was like 4.5.
Oh boy.
The truck driving was 10.
I can see that would kind of semi-permanently rewire your brain.
There you go.
Miswire.
Your,
Done,
yeah,
yay.
your physiology.
From night shift, though. Night shift is
I wanted to have a life, so I'd switched to like normal human hours on the
TB.
weekend, so it always messed me up doing that yo-yo.
Yeah.
But that's how I could
JP.
come out to it, so.
Yeah, he was a madman. He would like drive the truck, drive out here, drive back, get in the truck. And he's in
716.
Sometimes being a truck driver requires some stubbornness.
I thought this was part of it, but this is covered in blue, but it might also be chert.
There we go.
It looks like chert. But it was glued on back then.
A dashed line across here, and then
But better now it's not that it's done.
trying to draw some scissors on here. Cut here. There we go.
Yeah.
2026. And
conform to whatever position we're in.
With chart.
cut here.
I mean, I feel like when I leave here, I might need a shoulder replacement.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, I totally. More rotator cuffs.
That's kind of the feeling I'm getting. I mean, it's not like I've been real kind to my body up to this point, but also,
And it's really funny. It's because it's my left shoulder that I'm going to rotator cuff. It's all right.
What happens when you go around one? It's like more.
I'm just looking at one.
Indeed, that you got the shim.
Is that eye getting
Placed on
itself?
it. Okay. The company that you got the shim machine that'll please.
That might be what this is.
Yeah, I think it is.
Lateral.
Yeah, no, it's like it's always happened more than once. And
So it's orbital here.
Of course, I find one of the roughest spots to draw the most intricate part, the head. But
This is the jugular ramus there, that concave.
so it goes.
Here's a little box in front of the orbit. There's the orbit.
interesting thing though is that we have this curve right here. It's possible that the posterior process is kind of diving into the rock a bit, but I don't see it. So maybe it broke back in the day.
All that dripping over there.
I took all these out, and I popped this so I could get.
All right, I guess this is going to dictate our shading profile. I guess it's going to be darker on top and lighter underneath.
This is our second.
So just those happy accidents that just kind of determine how things look.
Dozens and dozens. Is that the left?
Yeah.
POB.
Yeah, let me go get a Don, we have some thick mix. Oh yeah, I mixed some thick. Do you have any out?
You need some thick?
Yeah, just a touch. Thanks.
Yeah, with those new, I've always looked at Edmontosaurus post-orbital, one of the most diagnostic things possible in this place. And when they start showing how that's totally set up so that I can look forward, we can look forward more. It's like, it makes so much sense. None of the other dinosaurs have that. Good stable drive character. See that in this critter? It's like, oh, it's a shared drive character with not like.
Yeah, they find a stretch.
Yeah, I mean that's probably.
Gonna get much better than that.
There you go. On the bottom here. Jameson, I can hold it. But I gotta go. Don, your thick glue is fine.
Some nice pachycephals.
Thanks, Ken. Whoa, what a cool T-Rex!
Everything is feathered. Maybe some convergence.
Maybe one at the dyer has something.
They're great scales. They're doing something. They're not all
Good enough. Okay.
I'm gonna let it sit.
We'll let it sit now.
It'll take a little while.
Yeah.
So now people are calling the the fur on turtle.
But, well, now I know. Shoot. Acrylic paint marker is the way to go. Hey, Don.
Yeah.
In the future, ditch the Sharpies. These things, acrylic paint markers, excellent for jackets. As long as you don't splodge the ink everywhere like I did.
Right.
But
I like the
yeah.
What's it called? What are the red tools that we use all the time? Milwaukee. The Milwaukee Marshalls.
Oh, yeah?
Those Sharpies are like amazing.
Excellent, yeah. This is like, it's a different setup where it's literally a paint marker, but it, yeah, marks on anything water-based, you know? Shoot. It works. It's like 2:15. What time do we want to take off?
45. We were going to start packing.
Shoot.
Victoria,
Yeah.
did you double up that
one vehicle.
gypsona?
Head to showers.
Did you fold over?
Yeah.
Or was it one single?
I might wrap this up pretty soon then, chat.
Of the
Yeah.
gypsona.
I thought you were going to leave early.
Huh? The
And,
plaster bandage that you put
and thanks, Prince of Energy. Yeah.
double. Okay.
Again, I was gonna shade this in a more natural way with light on top and dark underneath, but the marker was starting to run. I got a huge black splodge right here, and I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna run with it. So now it's dark on top and light underneath.
we pack up.
You do what you could do, you know? Happy little accidents. Thanks, Casey. That means a lot coming from you. This is not my best work, but it's fun, you know? It'll be fun to open up in the lab. Yeah. And it was fun to do on stream. Yeah. Here, let me just write a couple more times on each of the ends. 716.
It looks like church. How
You got a decent one?
D. B.
Enamel dentine, fossil
J.
bone.
P.
So this is that other one here.
D.
Transverse process right
J.
there.
P.
Ontogeny.
16. There we go. Good enough. All right. Let's go put these away and get ready to wrap up the stream, because I want to be able to help with takedown and everything today. Don't want to be late for that. There we are. Excellent. Being able to label the jackets like that means that when they get back to the laboratory, they can cross-reference that with the specimen logbook and the quarry map. We've got different designations for the quarry map stuff, like these are high priority, these are low priority, etc. So certain jackets will get opened before other ones. This one, the scap, is high priority, which is nice. And I think also, when you put some art on it like that, whoever is going to be prepping these things, they might be more inclined to open it sooner. But yeah, when I've worked with rather than just writing the number on the outside of the jacket, we would make sure, just in case anything happened to the outside, we'd put a specimen label on the inside of the jacket too. But that's another set of steps. It takes longer. I can see why this crew here doesn't do that. But when you expect that you might have jackets sitting in storage for years or decades, it's important to have some kind of identifier on the inside of the jacket too. Here, they're going to open these things up a little sooner, so it's not as crucial. But yeah, on other crews, like if you made a jacket and you didn't put a specimen slip with a number and other notes inside the jacket, like, you'd be in big trouble. So again, different crews do things differently. Danny was here. There you go, Mythic Mix. Yeah. And Cozy Kestrel says, is that pretty common for specimens to stay unopened for years? That's the norm, yeah. The exception is when things get opened up right away in the lab. Anywho, yeah. Any other questions now before we wrap up? Let's see. And then the BC man says should be only a couple of weeks at most. I mean, that would be nice, but most of these laboratories, like at the UGS lab, that's where Ethan and Don work. Don is not just assistant state paleontologist, he's also chief preparator for the state of Utah. So he oversees the lab and is in charge of prepping all this stuff. When I say prepping, that means preparing the fossils. You open up those jackets and you chip away all the rock from them. Fossils into a condition when they can be put into the collections without falling apart. They can be studied. They can maybe go on display. Fossil prep is cleaning the fossils in the lab and getting them ready for, for being there in the museum for all time. Fossil prep is what that's called, fossil preparation. If you'd like to learn more about that, you should follow Fossil Preparator here on Twitch. I was working with Steve Clausen, that's Fossil Preparator, just a few weeks ago, and he's going to start streaming again in September, and he's very excited. He and his partner just bought a house and moved into it, and he's still in the process of setting up his fossil lab there in the house. So he'll be doing streams from there. He's really excited to get back into it. And eventually, he'll be able to set up some stuff in the museum prep. Do, Twitch streams while he's prepping there in the museum. So anyhow, whole thing, and I've barely covered that here on Paleontologizing. We've done the fieldwork part of things. We've seen the results of that, the finished product, in lots of different scientific papers. But I've not shown a lot of laboratory work on stream, just because I don't have a lab where I live. And the one at Berkeley, I don't know if is operational right now. It'd be cool to do a stream from there eventually, but I gotta talk to some of the folks there. Maybe I'll be able to do some streams from the lab at the Natural History Museum of Utah, or at Ethan's facility at some point, but that might be a little bit of a wait before we can do that. Anyhow. Yeah. And, Nanaimo-Toothus. Yeah, I've got my doubts about that. Is this, yeah, Kanto Arcade. We did a whole stream about it. You should look it up on Paleontologizing. If you just search Kraken on my YouTube page, you can find that stream when we were discussing it. I think some of the scaling there might be... I suspect some of that might be off, and there are people who study gigantism in marine animals, and some of them were like, yeah, that critter was not that big. So, yeah. Anywho, Ed says, how big was the bone yesterday? Oh, the scapula? That's the one that I was just jacketing and then labeling. That's about, oh goodness, I would say 35 centimeters long, more or less. So not the biggest. Oh, the bone yesterday at the sauropod site. That's what Here, let's ask Ethan about that real quick. Because Ethan and Nick and Laura were out there yesterday, and they brought the bone back. We might even have it in the bed of the truck. I should check here. Let's see. Whoa. Okay, it's this big. Check that out. Yeah. Big sauropod bone there. Let me make sure. Big sauropod femur, but decent size. So thigh bone from a big plant-eating, four-legged Jurassic dinosaur. So pretty impressive. Our sauropod strike team went out and got this over the past couple days. And I found a whole bunch of bones at this site, so that. And shout out to Sternberg for finding the site originally. Yeah, this is an impressive single bone here. I mean, look at this for scale. This is a big one. Yeah. So that's from the Jurassic, from the Morrison Formation. That's a few million years older than what we've got going on here. And for some reason, at the end of the Jurassic, huge dinosaurs like that went extinct in North America. All the diplodocids, the brachiosaurs, we think. Whatever Haplocanthosaurus is seems to have gone extinct. All the big sauropods, the stegosaurs, the allosaurids. Nearly everybody dies except for maybe the camptosaurs and maybe one of the ankylosaurs. For some reason, something happened. And these rocks that we're digging in here, we're seeing kind of a recovery fauna. Interesting stuff. But yeah. Anywho. So that's why Ethan and Nick and Laura weren't here for the past couple days. They were out excavating that. I wonder if we'll be going there next summer to work that site. Who knows? We'll see. But anywho, yeah. Unless you have any other really pressing questions, I think we might go ahead and wrap up this stream so I can help with taking everything down. And Ark God. So no, brachiosaurids go extinct in North America, we think, at the end of the Jurassic. but they may have reinvaded from other places later in the Cretaceous. But we're talking about like a local extinction. Maybe extirpation would be the better word. But yeah. Anywho. Shaden FR says, which dinosaur fascinates you the most? Ooh, good question. Which dinosaurs fascinate me the most? That's a real... I often get asked what's my favorite dinosaur, and I've got several different favorites. But which ones fascinate me the most? That's a tough one. Shoot. Like, which dinosaurs do I find the most interesting? That's tricky. I think the horned dinosaurs, the big horned guys, the ceratopsids, intriguing because they seem to evolve quickly. The story of their evolution, different lineages splitting off and moving up and down Laramidia, the like western United States today, on the margins of this ancient seaway. I think probably moving across the landscape in big herds, at least for the Centrosaurians, if not the Chasmosaurians too. Evolving all kinds of crazy headgear that changes through ontogeny. So as the individual animals, as they're growing and maturing, there's really dramatic changes that happen in their horns and their frills and just the shape of their face in general. But then those changes also change through evolutionary time. There's just so much fascinating stuff going on with the ceratopsids that I think from a scientific standpoint, they're just really, really intriguing. There's really cool stories still to be discovered there. And there's a few researchers that I think are really starting to grasp this in a real way. And the way that story interweaves with the story of mountain building in Western North America at that time, from Mexico all the way up to Canada. The regression and an advancement of this ancient seaway, the Western Interior Sea. Like sometimes the seaway had transgressed to the point where it's right up against the base of these mountains, and so dinosaurs probably just couldn't cross north to south. And then eventually, after a while, the seaway retreats, and you have these corridors that these animals could move through, and that's maybe how you get different groups of ceratopsids at different places in North America at different times. There's just really fascinating stuff going on there, and we're just at the very beginning stages of really understanding this, really grasping this grand pageant of ceratopsid evolution. And it's only in the latter part of the Cretaceous. It's only in like the last part of the Age of Dinosaurs. And then, bow, the asteroid hit 66 million years ago, and those critters are gone forever. Think about if that asteroid hadn't hit. We wouldn't be here today. There would probably still be ceratopsids roaming the landscape. It's an intriguing thought. Anywho. Yeah, let's see. And Halier says, it's so awesome that we have the technology to have a peek at these digs happening nowadays. It makes the child and me happy. I'm really glad to hear that. That's why I want to do this. Thanks to the magic of Twitch and satellite internet. I can share this with you at home, and what a privilege to be able to do so. Good stuff. And Dumia says, what's the coolest thing, most common question I get? Yeah. And Claire Burt, news about the Utahraptor megablock? I don't know what you're talking about, Claire. What? Hang on. Hey, Jim. Yeah. Is there news about the Utahraptor megablock? People keep saying it
we're hitting it
in chat. You know what? We'll talk about that tomorrow. We got to wrap things up here.
You guys got a little time.
Yeah.
There's just a few of us heading out early.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. I should wrap up, though. So I don't know. I'll talk to them and see what's up. But yeah. And I don't know if there is any news, Claire. Yeah, I would think the people in charge of the mega block would be the first to know if there were news about it. They don't seem to know anything. Anywho, yeah. I answered this question the other day, what's the coolest thing I've ever found, and I could answer it again briefly right now before we wrap up. Back in 2012, one of my first summers doing fieldwork, my first time ever really prospecting in earnest, walking around looking for new sites, trying to discover new things. I spent the whole day prospecting in June of 2012 with Denver Fowler and Liz Friedman Fowler up in the Judith River Formation of Montana. And I found a new species of horned dinosaur, a new species of ceratopsid. I was just waxing lyrical about, you know, these horned dinosaurs evolving and changing and moving up and down the continent back at the end of the Cretaceous. I found one of the pieces in that puzzle, and it is it's still awaiting publication. Denver Fowler is leading the project there, but it's exciting stuff. Hopefully in the next couple years I'll be able to give you all the details once that thing gets published. I'm very, very excited about it. That's the coolest thing I've ever found. A brand new species of horned dinosaur. Doesn't have a name yet because it's new. And Denver is working to get that published. He's writing it up. He's been working on it for a while. And Nashe says, would you say the NYC Museum? Oh, we call it AMNH, the American Museum of Natural History in New York City. Is that the best one to visit for dinosaur fossils? Not necessarily. AMNH is really impressive. Lots of cool dinosaur fossils on display there. But it clearly took a ton of money to build. It's beautiful. It feels very put together, very polished. But I'm not necessarily in love with the way that they present things. They have the Hall of Saurischian dinosaurs and the Hall of Ornithischian dinosaurs. It's a very kind of old-fashioned, like, oh, well, here's the bird-hip dinosaurs and here's the lizard-hip dinosaurs in different halls. There's not a whole lot of information or discussion of the rise and fall of different dinosaur groups, how they evolved over time, a whole lot about paleobiology, how these critters would have lived and how we can test those ideas, how we know about this stuff. It's mostly like, here's a cool dinosaur. And if that's your jam, awesome. A lot of people love that. That is kind of like the old-fashioned of just my favorite dinosaur museums. Some of the smaller ones that might focus on a particular time and place, and like, here's dinosaurs you can't see anywhere else, and here's the stories behind their discovery and why they're important and how we learn about these things. Here's the process of science. That's kind of more my style, you know? That might make sense, you know, given that I do these streams like this. I'm all about process. Here's how we do this stuff. Here's why you should care about it. Here's why it's cool. So some of my favorite museums are ones that kind of focus on that kind of thing. Museum of the Rockies does this pretty well, I think. I used to work there back when I lived in Montana. The Badlands Dinosaur Museum in Dickinson, North Dakota. Really small museum, but holy cow, are they a powerhouse of dinosaur research. And they just broke ground on a huge expansion. They're going to be like, you know, tripling the size of the museum over the next couple years. That's really exciting. And that is just a burgeoning field program. I was working with them in June up in Montana, digging up dinosaurs and pterosaurs and dinosaur eggs and all kinds of cool stuff. They're just finding new things every year. It's awesome to see them expand. They're going to be a major player. They're already a major player. They're going to be one of the biggest and most impressive dinosaur museums in the world before too long. So yeah. But anyway, look up and see if there's any museums near where you are. It's always worth a visit. Yeah. And Jim Furness has just visited there a couple weeks ago. Awesome, awesome. Very cool. Yeah. Oh, and neat. Hell yeah. Marine reptile exhibit. I wonder how much they have on marine turtles. That's kind of one of my big things now. And Nayshay says, do you think with DNA and eggs today we could bring some back? No, we don't have DNA. That's the thing. For every dinosaur from the Mesozoic era, from the age of dinosaurs, there's not a single DNA anywhere. Not like a single nucleotide. DNA doesn't last, it just doesn't. DNA's kind of got an expiration date on it, and after a couple million years, it's completely gone. The last of the non-bird dinosaurs died out 66 million years ago. So I don't know if we'll ever get any DNA from dinosaur fossils from the Mesozoic. So, maybe in the future with genetic engineering, you could kind of back engineer a critter like a chicken to look more like a Mesozoic dinosaur. Birds are living dinosaurs, so the best option would be to start with a living bird and then just try to turn back the clock on it, but it wouldn't be the same thing as having an actual Mesozoic dinosaur, you know? It might be an interesting facsimile, but it's not going to be, you know, just like it was in the Mesozoic, if that makes sense. Yeah. In Chaotic Odyssey, even if it's stuck in amber and a mosquito, actually amber is a uniquely terrible medium to preserve DNA in, because amber is porous. Yeah, like, you're not going to get DNA out of it. You're more likely to get it out of a fossil in mudstone or something than out of amber. So, yeah. Anywho. So especially now. Exactly. Yeah. And Nayshay, hey, I could spend hours and hours talking with you. Well, I hope you will. I'll be streaming again tomorrow, a little bit later in the afternoon, on our normal schedule, from 1 p.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Mountain Time out here, until 5 p.m. Mountain Time, which I guess is, 4 p.m. Pacific. Be doing that for the next week. I think next Wednesday, a week from today, might be our last stream from the quarry, so I'll be doing the streams, maybe 8, provided that weather goes well. So please tune in then. Alright, they're packing things up. I am going to wrap up the stream here. Let's see who is... And yeah, we are going to Moab tonight, Emily. Yes, indeed. We're getting ready to go do that right now. So let me find somebody to raid into here on Twitch. Maybe somebody else who's doing some science at the moment. Let's see. Oh, there's Racodactylus. Excellent. We'll go raid into Raco. Beautiful. Raco _ Dactylus. Great. I'll kick that off in a second. Again, we started about 2 hours early today because we're wrapping up 2 hours early. Uncle Don, Utah's assistant state paleontologist Don DeBlue, is giving a special talk in Moab, Utah tonight. And we're going to be there in the audience cheering him on. It's a talk about Triassic paleontology. Moenkopi madness, he calls it. Looking forward to this, and also looking forward to getting some cold drinks and resupplying at the grocery store and just kind of hanging out and getting a little taste of civilization, at least to the extent that Moab, Utah can offer that. So yeah, let's go raid into Raco in just a minute. But thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate you more than you know. Holy cow. Day like today, still had so many people in the chat asking questions and then sharing their enthusiasm and just showing up for... I appreciate that, especially nowadays. Thank you to the new followers and the raiders, the people who came in for the first time today. I hope you'll come back. Thank you to the subscribers and the gifters and the cheerers, the people who make these streams possible through their financial support. couldn't do it without you. Like, literally, financially, these streams would not be possible without your support. So thank you for subsidizing that for everybody who can't afford to subscribe or support the broadcast. Thank you for helping keep this a free resource for everybody. I appreciate that, and they do too. And thank you, of course, to the moderators who maintain a safe and welcoming community here for people of all backgrounds and levels of expertise and ages and levels of English proficiency and everything else. I appreciate you more than you know, mods. You are all collectively a treasure, and I'm deeply grateful to you. All right, let's go right into Reiko, who is a cognitive scientist doing some science outreach here on Twitch. I will see everybody tomorrow, I hope. Wish us luck in Moab, and take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.